Let's start the psychopharmacology portion. What we're going to be looking at here um, is the movement of a drug from outside the body into the brain and then out. We're going to study how this happens. We're going to study what happens here. And we're not really going to talk about um, metabolizing, breaking down the drugs. That's not for this class. To get us oriented, obviously, psychopharmacology is not just about drugs of abuse, but it certainly does include drugs of abuse. And one of the themes of my class uh, is drug addiction because it's such an important topic. Now, would you say that all drugs are equally addictive? I'd say no. So, if we analyze a drug, we can sort of determine how addictive it is based on these four features that I've sort of formalized. So you know obviously that Tylenol does not equal cocaine. First, all drugs of abuse, all, stimulate the reward system. Now, different drugs start by doing drug specific actions, but they all eventually get to the reward system as a final common pathway. And the extent to which the reward system is stimulated is one of the variables that tells us how addictive a chemical is. For example, caffeine. That's a potential drug of abuse. It's certainly addictive. I love it. It does stimulate the reward system, but only mildly when compared to something like cocaine or methamphetamine or uh, the opiates. Okay, rate of entry into the blood. What I mean here is if we just look at time and you take the drug here, how quickly does the effect rise? So it's the slope of the rise of the drug in the blood. Now, what do you think? Is a faster rate of onset more addictive or a slower rate of onset? Definitely faster, more addictive. The reason being a contrast phenomenon. You know that old saying, if you put a frog in a boiling pot of water, it'll jump right out. But if you put the frog in a cold pot of water and slowly heat it up, it won't notice and it will die. That's a contrast effect. We, just like the frog, notice contrasts much more. Now, in particular, imagine if you're thinking of a drug naive person, now imagine a drug addict, because their starting point is to be in a state of misery and withdrawal. So they're going from misery and withdrawal to feeling okay very quickly. And what they're doing is strengthening the association between drug and feeling better. The closer the taking of the drug is to feeling better, the stronger the association. All right. Peak blood concentration of the drug. This is pretty straightforward. I think you understand that the higher this peak, the more addictive the use is going to be. Rate of clearance of the drug from the body. This is once you're up here, the drug has taken effect. How quickly does it go away? And what do you think? Which pattern is going to be more addictive? Definitely this one. For the same contrast effect we were talking about. The faster you go from feeling okay to withdrawal, misery, the more you want the drug now. The faster you crash, the greater urgency with which you want the drug. Okay, so these are four features that help determine whether a drug is more or less addictive.